Off the face-off, it goes to Holmes. He moves it to the right side for Nelson. Along the wall, thrown cross ice for Holmes. Tries to get a shot away. That's blocked. Clearing attempt got held up. It comes free behind the net. Worth back for Aaron Myers. Tries to shake off Cullen Rush. Now Horn in there. And the loose puck gathered by Almquist, and he clears the zone. We got less than a minute left in the Wilderness power play. 16:38 remaining in the third period. Game tied at 4. Here's Crosby. Moving laterally across center. Flips it across the blue line. Battle for the loose puck. And the Bruins come up with it, and they clear the zone. Much more lively crowd than what we saw here in the first period, at least within the first 10 minutes. Here comes Crosby. Puts it on the tape for Hanzawa. Back for Crosby. Thrown toward the rear of the cage, and it comes back. Bruins again are able to clear, and we're down to 10 seconds remaining in the power play. Now here comes Tillman trying to strip it away from Kimball Johnson. Nate Adrian comes up with it. He'll fire it into the Bruin end. Penalty is over. Both teams back at full strength. Here's Jaden Shields on the near wall to Dante Sheriff. He'll send it behind the net to Cullen Rush. We got Nate Adrian and Alec Coakley in on the Wilderness forecheck. Sheriff through center. Had some trouble with it. Now is able to regain control in the Wilderness zone. Puck loose along the wall. Jab back to the point. Rush over to Shields toward the net. That's deflected by Sheriff toward the corner. Now Ziegler trying to drag it free. And it's banked off the boards out to neutral ice. Coakley sails it over the head of Jaden Shields. He has to come back in his own zone. To left to Rush. Out to center for Sheriff. He got worked off the puck by Sloth. And Shea has to come out of his net. Feeds it for Sheriff. Worth trying to work it free along the wall. Watkins in there. Here comes Worth with it. Sweeps it to the right side for Sloth. He'll flip it toward the corner. It goes to Crosby. Lewis Crosby along the wall. Backhands it behind the net. Going after it is Sheriff. This one took a funny bounce out in front. Here's Watkins with a shot that goes over the net and out of play. With 5:22 expired here in the third period, the game all knotted up at 4. Wilderness scoring came in the first period. 3 goals in the first 6 minutes and 19 seconds. There was another one added with 5:07 left in the period. Goal scoring by Kimball Johnson, Jake Herter with 2, Garrett Worth with another. Bruins have come back, though, and this game is all tied at 4. On the left side, it's Millimak. In the Wilderness zone, centers, deflected, Almquist to drive, and that goes out of play. Getting his stick on it was Johnson, and that ended up going out of play. Your shots on goal. Bruins outshot the Wilderness in the first period, 13-7. They followed that up with a 12-4 effort in the second period. And now they've got 5 shots to start the third. Wilderness with a pair of shots here in the third period. Here's Millimak with a drive right on the save by Johnson. Now Herter to center. Can't get around Misak. And back in his own end, it's Zubert. Gets it to Almquist. Backhands it to Gabor. He throws one toward the Wilderness net. Knocked aside by Johnson. And on the far wall, Sloth moves it ahead to Herter. Kicked free, but it goes right to Brady Hunter. Hunter gains center, dumps it in. This makes its way on goal. Knocked aside by Shea. Now Pietel with it, moves it along the boards. Back to center it goes. Here's Watkins to Ziegler. Back to Hunter, and he'll deflect it deep in the Bruin end. Continues his pursuit. Bruins are able to move it along the wall. It goes to Gabor. Reaching back was Garrett Worth, able to knock it aside. And right there was Brady Hunter, able to dump it in. Back out to center it goes. Ziegler trying to keep Quinn from breaking free. Puck comes loose in the corner, and it's grabbed by Gabor. Played along the wall, and Dante Sheriff is able to bank it into the Wilderness zone for Zach Ziegler. To the right to Nelson. He's able to redirect it to Crosby. Right side, moving in is Watkins with a shot that is off a stick, and it goes out of play. Wilderness with a little bit more life with that line that we just saw there with Worth, Crosby, and Hunter was out there, and now I think we're going to get, let's see, actually Watkins was the one that was out there. Usually it had been Hanzawa. A little bit of line shuffling here by the Wilderness coaching staff. Now Larkin along the boards. Puck goes to Pietola, ahead to Almquist, and he moves in on the right side. Almquist trying to get around Holmes. They jab after the loose puck. And a pass to Shields at the point was too far, and he'll have to go after it in his own end. 12:22 left. Third period, game tied at 4. Now Sloth in his own zone, over to Kimball Johnson. Back to Sloth in front of his own net. And a pass for Adrian was off target. Bruins play it the other way. Now Sheriff moving in. He got dragged down. We got a penalty coming. Brendan Sloth took him down, and it's going to be a tripping minor on Sloth with 12:02 left. That could be a penalty shot. I guess not clean enough of a break there for Sheriff. Rather, that's Stoyanov that's going to the box. Scoreboard says it's number 19, but it should be 28 that's in the box. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, it is Kimball Johnson. I'm sorry. Stoyanov's in the box because he's serving the 10-minute misconduct from the Fighting Major in the second period. There's a drive from the point. Pad saved by Johnson. Again, the pinball flapper-like save. Here is Shields. Left side, Misak. Bottom of the circle, centering attempt goes to Nelson. He'll send it off the glass. Still in the Wilderness zone. This is Almquist. Back up top for Shields. Over to the far wall, Misak. Joseph Misak, side of the net. There's a one-timer by Quinn that was knocked away to the near wall. Shields with it down low. Larkin back to Shields. Left side, Misak. Steps forward, feeds it back to Shields. One-timer by Almquist, and getting his body on it was Nelson, knocking it to the corner. Gets to the line, but they keep it in the zone. Shields, nice job. And a pass back from the near wall. They tried to get it to the point. Looked like it went off a stick, and it's back in the Bruin end. Wilderness fortunate there. 50 seconds remaining in the Bruin power play. This is a Coors Light penalty kill for the Wilderness as the puck is sent deep in the Minnesota zone, and Jake Herter able to find an opening, gets it to neutral ice. Misak drops it back to his defense for Pietola. Over to Sheriff. Finds an opening on the right side. Curls back toward the blue line. Gets it for Pietola. Fans on his shot. Now moving in is Tiernan shouting the shot. They score! A power play goal for the Bruins. They have battled their way all the way back after being down 4-0, and they take the lead 5-4. That was Tiernan Shouty that moved in on the left side. And at the 9:36 mark of the third period, the Bruins get a power play goal to put them up 5-4. Fifth goal of the season for Shouty. Well, no, they give that goal to Jacobs. Jacobs got his stick on it there, and that's and Sheriff with the assist. Jacobs is third of the season. So the Bruins able to cash in on the power play and give them their first lead of the night. Still 10:05 left, and the Wilderness now got to work their way back. Here's Schubert. Incredibly frustrating, to say the least. Puck gloved down by Millimak. It goes to Larkin. He steps across, feeds it to the left side. Almquist tries to throw one toward the net. Here's a centering attempt. Almquist's drive went off the side of the cage. Puck jabbed ahead, and Watkins pokes it to neutral ice. Back at his own blue line, Shields skates into the Wilderness zone. Far side, darts his way out in front. Finds Sheriff, right point. Up top, Shields a drive. Blocker saved by Johnson. There's a drive by Misak, comes free in the corner. Sheriff to the far side. That bounced away from Misak. It's out at center ice. Now Misak gets a pass and will dump it in. We got Ziegler and Sheriff that both collided in the far wall. Puck loose in the corner. Here's Jacobs, and he got tripped up. Fans wanted a penalty there. I think that was incidental contact, though. Now Hanzawa will dump it in. This makes its way off the end wall. We got another collision that sends Cullen Rush, knocks Hanzawa down on the ice. And a backhand clearing attempt comes back in the Wilderness zone. This will make its way just wide of the Wilderness cage. And this is an icing call with 8:34 left here in the third period. Other scores: Maryland Black Bears defeat the New Jersey Titans tonight 4-2. 3-1 win for Jamestown over the Johnstown Tomahawks. 3-3 tie in Corpus Christi between the Ice Rays and New Mexico Ice Wolves. Chippewa Steel lead Springfield 2-0. Topeka's got a 4-2 lead over Odessa, and it's a 2-0 lead for Lone Star after 2 periods. 2-0 lead for Amarillo over Lone Star after 2 periods. Meanwhile, face off to the left of Tyler Shea. And this is Shouty in on the face-off with Watkins. And Sheriff is able to clear the zone. It goes to Nelson. Out to center, batted back to Nelson. And that gets underneath Holmes' stick. He has to regroup in his own end. He finds Watkins. He'll fire it in the Austin zone. Shields will knock it over to the far side. Clearing attempt is held up by Nelson. No, he could not hold the zone. And it's whistled down with 8:06 left here in the third period. Wilderness trailing by a goal. Those other scores, you got Aberdeen leading the Bismarck Bobcats by a score of 3-1. Bobcats in danger of losing their third straight. And you've got St. Cloud on the road in Minot with a 4-1 lead over the Minot Minotauros. Wilderness on the road next week. They go to Aberdeen. Second trip to the Odie Ice Center this season.
All right. Hey, give me a second. We're working on some stuff. I'm sorry.
And these two teams making their way back. We've got our mid-period timeout here. And they're going to drop the puck just outside of the Austin zone. And waiting for this Wilderness team to wake up, the team that scored 3 goals in the first 6 minutes of this hockey game and added 1 more in the first period has been not had much of an effort since. And face-off just outside the zone with 8:06 left here in the third. Puck worked off the boards. It goes to Larkin. Cross ice he goes. Cullen Rush will dump it in. That got held up by Kimball Johnson. Puck deflects to the near wall. Here's Worth to Ziegler. Right side, Kimball Johnson. And here's Ziegler. Tries to find an opening at center ice. He'll flip it into the Austin end. Off the carom, it goes to Rush. This pass to the far wall knocked down by Worth. It comes free behind the net. Misak will look to set up. 7.5 left to play, third period. Misak breaks out from behind his own net, left side, redirected in by Milimak. Now Johnson has to work from his own zone. 7:20 remaining in the third period. Wilderness trailing 5-4. Johnson breaks across the line. Can't get around Gabor. Now Coakley will dump it in on the backhand. That deflects toward the front of the net, batted toward the rear of the cage. Here's Shields again with it. Gabor through center, dumps it in. This comes behind the Wilderness net. There's Caleb Johnson over to Herder, able to bank it off the wall. Shields is there to throw it back deep in the zone. Nelson behind his own net. That got away from Kimball Johnson. Darting in there is Hugh Quinn. Puck pops free, and Adrian is there to clear. Shields comes back in his own zone with the forecheck was Herder. Now Myers skating with it. Dishes a pass for Nelson. He dumps it in. Puck caroms to Dante Sheriff. He'll feed it far side to Pietola. And he clears to center. Back at his own blue line is Holmes. And Zawa able to redirect it into the zone. And right there was Kabor to clear it the other way. Blake Holmes to Nelson. Nelly tried to get it to Hanzawa. That was broken up. Coming up with it is Jacobs trying to split the defense. Couldn't quite control the puck thanks to the work of Nelson and Blake Holmes back defensively. Now Dante Sheriff steers it to the corner. Backhanded to the rear of the cage. We got a penalty coming up. It's going to be on the Wilderness. Delayed call. Tyler Shea on the bench for an extra attacker, and Sheriff will come back and kill some time here to allow his team to set up and see if they can do something with the extra attacker here. Once the Wilderness touch it, they're going to be whistled for the penalty. 5.5 left to play here in the third period. Obviously not the right time for the penalty to be called as you're down by a goal. Here comes Almquist. Banks it off the wall, throws it toward the net. There it's touched by Johnson, and there is the whistle. And this penalty coming at the 14:42 mark. Sends Holmes to the box.
All right, friends. If you have your tickets available, the winner.
That is a cross-checking minor on Blake Holmes, and it sets this Coors Light penalty kill up to a task here. That's they're going to have to kill this power play here if they have any shot of coming back in this hockey game.
It's time for a first quarter's emergent power play.
Almquist tried to get a pass that's batted down. Now Riddle will throw it to the corner. Here is Shields. He got cut off by Ziegler. Played along the wall to Almquist. Up top, Misak. Over to Almquist. And right in his face there was Nate Horn, able to deflect it to neutral ice. Almquist drops it for Misak. Tries to skate away from Watkins, gains the zone, steers it to the corner. Now Ziegler moving in behind the net, got stick tied up, but coming up with the puck was Almquist, walked right out in front. Got a backhand shot away, that's controlled by Johnson. And that stops the play with 4:28 left here in the third period, and the Bruins leading 5-4. A couple other games later on tonight. You got Janesville at Fairbanks and Kenai River hosting the Minnesota Magicians. Face off to Caleb Johnson's right. Puck comes back to the left point. This is Sheriff. Over to Tiernan Shouty, Michigan State commit. Sends it off the near wall to Pietola. Up top to the Mercyhurst commit, Dante Sheriff. Sheriff and Shouty trade the puck. It goes to Pietola on the near side. Cross ice pass for Sheriff, blocked by Worth, and it's back at neutral ice. Sheriff back in his own zone, less than 4 to play in the period. 35 seconds remaining in the Austin power play. Puck goes to Milimak across the line. Tried to find That was Jacobs right in the circle. Here's a shot that's blocked, and now Nelson will lead the rush the other way. Watkins got held up at the blue line, sends it to his defenseman into the zone. Here is Kimball Johnson through center. Evades a check, skates in the zone, then he falls down. We got a penalty coming against the Bruins. And Kimball Johnson checking his facial area and saying that blood was drawn, and making a case here for maybe a double minor. It's a high sticking penalty that comes with 6 seconds remaining in the penalty to Blake Holmes. And it is going to be a double minor. Tiernan Shouty goes to the box for a high stick. That's a call they have to make. Fans are booing the call, but that's when they have to make. When there is blood drawn on a high stick, it's a double minor. And we got a conference at the Austin bench. Quick conference with the officials. They're getting the face-off set up. So the Wilderness are going to go on a power play in 6 seconds here. This is the time to get another one with the extra man. Here it goes to Ryan Nelson, but he coughs it up right out in front, and now Almquist will kill some time and fire at the length of the ice. This goes wide of the Wilderness net. Backhanded to the wall for Garrett Worth. And now the Wilderness on the power play. Here comes Garrett Worth. Slips it across the line, continues his pursuit. Jaden Shields can't clear. It goes to Holmes. Up top, Nelson. Far wall to Garrett Worth. Back to Nelly toward the net. Shea the save. And the rebound gathered by Shields, and he clears the zone. 3:14 remaining in the double minor. 2:35 remaining in the third period. Now Watkins. He'll fire one toward the net. Shea moves it along the wall, and Myers can't hold the zone. It comes back for Kimball Johnson at neutral ice. Holmes back in his own end to Johnson. 2:18 remaining in the period. Now Myers. Crosby darts to the net. Lost control of the puck. It goes behind the cage. And then it's sent up and over the glass. Out of play with 2:09 left here in the third. And now is when you want to keep an eye on when the Wilderness will pull Caleb Johnson for an extra attacker. And Wilderness trying to avoid what would mount to be one of the biggest breakdowns in their history. And yeah, we got a timeout being called. What a collapse this has been already. I mean, they coughed up a 4-0 lead. Bruins coming all the way back to take a 5-4 lead in this hockey game. And the timeout being called by the Wilderness coaching staff. With 2:45 remaining in the power play, 2:09 left in the third period. 2:09 is the number that's most important here. As clock expires, well, forget about it. But it will play a huge part, though, if they can get a tying goal, because this power play would extend to overtime. Now is the time to get focused and play the way you played in the first period. Tyler Shea has not allowed anything to get past him since he entered the game. That was late in the first period. Off the face-off, it goes to the corner. Bruins clear. On the near side, Holmes is able to fire it in. And it escapes the zone. Makes it all the way around the boards past Kimball Johnson. He has to go back after it in his own end. You got Almquist deep for the Bruins as the Wilderness skate out. Garrett Worth across the line, cannot get past Cullen Rush. And he moves it back to neutral ice. 1:35 remaining in regulation time. Toward the corner it goes. And Myers was able to get the puck to the point. His man fell down. The fans wanted a penalty. Here's Holmes along the boards, up top. Extra attacker on the ice for the Wilderness. Caleb Johnson is on the bench, and here we've got a shot that is in the net. The Bruins get an empty net goal just as Johnson left the ice surface, and that's a shorthanded empty netter, makes it 6-4. That's Ben Almquist that got that goal, and he fired that in from beyond his own blue line. On target, in the net to make it a 2-goal lead with 1:12 left in the third. Here Adrian will take this face-off with Riddle. Puck batted back to Stoyanov, to Ziegler. Power play continues. Here is Ziegler over to Hunter. And we got an offside call made with 59 seconds remaining in the third. Now we're down to the second minor penalty. Now if a goal is scored, the penalty time would be over. If there would have been, if they would have gotten a goal in the first 2 minutes. Well, it's all a moot point now, as we're down to less than a minute to play here in the third period. Ziegler banks it off the boards for Fox along the wall, throws it toward the net. Right there is Misak, and he clears. Credit Misak as he played a big part in this Bruin comeback. And here comes Ziegler. Pass goes to Adrian behind the defense, moving in on goal. Coming back was Misak, able to keep him from getting a good shot away. Now Ziegler will bat it to Fox. Bottom of the circle, redirected to Adrian, and he scores. Brady Hunter was at the bottom of the face-off circle, got it to Adrian in front. And the Wilderness make it a 1-goal game with 22 seconds left. That's a power play goal. That comes at the 1938 mark of the period. Nate Adrian puts an end to Nate Adrian and Brady Hunter both put an end to 12-game point droughts. Made 6-5, and final seconds here of the third period. Ziegler ahead to Hunter. He'll throw one toward the net. Shea knocks that aside. Moving in is Fox. Oh, the puck fluttered wide of the net. Final seconds of regulation time. There's a scramble behind the net. Bruins are happy to just kind of keep it pinned up back there, and they're going to complete this victory. 6-5, they win after being down 4-0 in the first period. Here's how things went in this one. Wilderness, you can get the details on NAHL.com, but Kimball Johnson from Aaron Myers and Blake Holmes, 50 seconds into the first period. 2 quick goals from Jake Herter that were 24 seconds apart from Zach Ziegler and Chikara Henzawa on the power play. And then a Herter from Zach Ziegler. I thought that was just before, right after the power play expired, but apparently it was just before the power play ended, that second goal. But nonetheless, with 5:07 left and another power play goal. Garrett Worth from Myers and Holmes. They had him on the ropes. Looked like they were going to skate off with an easy victory, but not to be. Austin came back. It started with Connor Millimak from Jaden Shields with the minute 17 left in the first. Then 49 seconds into the second, Hugh Larkin scored, made it 4-2. They made it 4-3 on another late goal, a minute 7 left in the second. Ben Almquist from Connor Millimak. Millimak again early in the third, tied the game from Hugh Larkin and Jaden Shields. They took the lead on a power play goal, Peter Jacobs from Tiernan Shouty and Dante Sheriff. And then a shorthanded empty net goal from Ben Almquist. And that made it 6-4. That ends up being your game winner. Wilderness got one more with 22 seconds left. Nate Adrian from Brady Hunter and Zach Ziegler on the power play. Ziegler with 3 assists in this game, but in a losing effort, Wilderness fall to 13-10-1 on the season. The Bruins improved to 12-8-4 on the season. So that does it for us here tonight in Austin. Wilderness go on the road next weekend to Aberdeen. The Bruins have a home-and-home series with St. Cloud next weekend. I'm Marty Hill. Thanks for tuning in tonight, folks, on what ended up being a big collapse for the Wilderness. They got to regroup from this one. Long season left to go here, folks. Hopefully they learn from it here. Have a good night, everyone. You've been watching Wilderness Hockey on Hockey TV.